So Rogue was last weekend, and I'm going to be having a cheat meal and talking to you guys about the weekend, basically having a bit of a recap and explain to you a few things that happened behind the scenes throughout the weekend while eating pizza and having some dessert from Dairy Queen. Alright, so I just ordered Domino's, and my go-to is garlic bread. Sometimes I would prefer it if it was cheesy garlic bread, but that's okay. So garlic bread, meat lovers, supreme, and also a pepperoni. I do really like cheese pizzas as well, but for Domino's, you know, I don't mind a few of those extra calories. And then for dessert, I want to go to Dairy Queen, which is technically my very first time of going to Dairy Queen, because I've constantly just driven past it every time, not realizing what it actually represented, because all I see is a sign with DQ, sorry. And I one day found out when I was in Kentucky what it actually stood for, and that you can get ice cream cakes. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, why didn't I know about this earlier? So I made a deal that after Rogue, I'm going to get myself a big ice cream cake. And so that's where we're going. Shit. Okay, look at this. So I had to get a Blizzard, like you said, and that makes me so nervous. Man, that pizza smells so good. Are we on? Oh, okay. I'm a fatty, guys. Deep down, I'm a fatty. What kind of flavors do you have and stuff? Because I couldn't see the board, because she literally met me at the door. And so I was like, I wonder if this is like normal service. So I see the fridge and I see all the cakes and stuff. I was like, do we have anything that's a little smaller? And she's like, well, actually not in stock right now, but this is actually our smallest one. And I was like, damn, that food's like 20. And so then I was like asking about this Blizzard thing, and she just kept pointing to the cakes. I'm like, is the Blizzard a cake? I was under the impression it's like a smoothie. So we got some chicken wings. They're more so for Shane. And then we have meat lovers. Look at that crust. We have another meat lovers. Don't know if I ordered that one actually, but anyways. And we have another meat lovers. Shane, what happened to the pepperoni? Shane, he's playing Sony PlayStation. Well, anyways, we have 3 pizzas, and I'm very excited. And ice cream. And so we're gonna have something to eat, and then we'll come back and I'll talk about Rogue and basically, you know, what went down on the weekend. All right, so we just had Rogue on the weekend, clearly celebrating. And I did it at a gym called Calf Killer Athletics. It's a gym that's in the next county over, about 25 minutes away from my house here in Cookville. And the reason being was because at the time when we were organizing where to do it, I assumed I would do it at CrossFit Mayhem, but we realized that there was actually a CrossFit Level 1 seminar on that weekend scheduled. So I had to look for an alternative, and I looked at places in Nashville, but you know, I kind of preferred to keep it closer to home. And now looking back on it, especially with like the lead up and the rehearsals and everything that was involved in prepping for the competition, it was very important that it was near home, and you know, I didn't have to travel very far for it. So that's the whole reason behind doing it there. And they have a really wonderful community that was so welcoming and very accommodating. So, you know, I really am happy that I did it there, and I think that they really appreciated being a part of that experience as well. And so we had 6 events on the weekend. There was event 2 was a 2-part workout. And as I look over the weekend, you know, there was just so much to take from it in terms of my performance and the experience. But I must admit, it was just one of the most incredible experiences I've ever had, because it was so different to a regular competition and to what I'm normally used to.
Yeah, man.
I apologize for Shane interrupting. He's playing PlayStation at the moment, and doesn't realize how loud he is. But yeah, so we started it off with a really great workout. I was really happy with that one. We had thrusters, 21-15-9 of thrusters, burpee pull-ups, and the weight of the thruster bar kept increasing. And I think that that was something that was, you know, a really cool workout to kick it off. It's very CrossFit orientated, and for me, you know, like you always have when you're going into a competition, a lot of nerves and emotion running through the body. And so the first workout I always feel like is just a little bit more nerve-wracking than the rest of them. So I think that that was a really nice workout to kind of kick it off. And then we had like the snatches. Now, this was an interesting workout because for me, you know, I had a plan going into that workout, but that plan was thrown out the window as soon as the first heat went, and absolutely smashed it out of the water. With, I think the fastest time in that heat was a 1:26. And so I was like, okay, well then that's a lot faster than what we need to do, which is going to ultimately affect part B of the workout. But I'm willing to take that chance. And so I was able to secure 100 points, but then when it came to part B, there was a lot of things to think about in terms of how to attack part B, because it was at the start of the weekend, and there was a lot to come. But also you still want to be putting your best foot forward no matter what. And so a part of me felt like I needed to, you know, keep going and keep pushing. But then in the back of my head was also thinking, just damage control here. You know, you don't want to blow up the back too much. You don't want to blow up the forearms for the total bar workout, and, you know, all these things. And I actually ended up having my worst place finish for the weekend, which was 13th. And that was obviously very disappointing. But once I realized, you know, how sore I pulled up on the second day, I actually was quite pleased that, you know, I did what I did, because I think that it actually ended up benefiting me throughout the weekend. So, you know, I think that was very different, but a lot to take away. And then obviously we had our total bar workout. That was a really great one. And then the second day we had the clean and jerk. And wow. I say wow because since Rogue and since actually clean and jerking 270, I've had non-stop messages from people just saying how incredible they thought that was. And, you know, I don't think I realized how much everyone appreciated what I did on that day. And so it's very humbling, and you know, I'm very grateful that people are recognizing that, and it just makes me feel so good to know and to see just how much people have been thriving off something that I didn't realize I was doing at the time. At the time, I was just living in the moment, and essentially I was going off script and kind of just going with the flow. And I'm just so pleased that I did that, and I'm so grateful that I had that opportunity. So a little bit about that and the behind the scenes. Obviously, we did our tie break of the 7 clean and jerks for time, and I knew that I didn't get the fastest time, so I needed to finish that ladder. And I couldn't concentrate or think about any of the other athletes. I really had to just focus on myself. And we started the first bar of the ladder at 195, and for me, that is relatively light. So I needed to also make sure that I wasn't getting too fired up too early, because I had about 15 rounds, which was about an hour to get to the very last bar. Now when I was considering all the time slots and everything that we had. So as we're progressing and everything, I'm still not knowing who is still in the race, but I am aware, and you know, Shane was kind of like doing hand signals and stuff. I was aware that there were still people fighting for the 100 points. So we get to the final bar at 265, and I know that from obviously Shane calling out, I know that Laura and I are the last 2 standing, and I can't focus on anything else but my own lift, and I lift it and it's successful. And apparently all they could see on the screen was that Laura couldn't get out of the clean, but it changed, so Shane didn't know whether or not Laura successfully tried it again and got it, or if I had actually, you know, solidified my first place. So I immediately turned to my judge and I asked him, like, can you get confirmation from the judges of the rogue team before I, you know, say no? So nothing was happening, and he was still counting down. So he's like, you have 2 minutes to go to the next lift. And I was like, hang on, I think that we're done. Like, I don't think we go up anymore. And I'm kind of like pacing back and forth. And so I'm thinking, oh, okay, well, you know, I'm not getting that confirmation yet. And I would hate to have put all this energy into this event and lose because Laura has successfully got it, and I just assumed that she hadn't. So I loaded the bar to 270, and I couldn't remember what the rule book said, so I was like, just load it, and if you have to lift it, you just got to lift it. And Shane is calling the operations team back in, you know, where Rogue are operating the whole broadcast team, and he can't get a confirmation from them either. And the judge is like, you've got 1 minute. And I was like, oh, all right, well, come on, Tia, focus. Like, don't worry about what everything else is going. You just got to focus if that means that you have to lift this bar. So Shane's kind of getting a little bit worked up. My judge is staying cool, calm, and collected and telling me that I've got 30 seconds to lift the bar. And here I'm thinking, okay, all right, what is the job at hand right now? All I have to do is just lift this bar and successfully make it. So I said to myself, okay, Tia, you've come this far. You can't stuff it up now, and you just got to go for it and lift like it's your last lift ever. So I quickly chalked up, and he was counting down 10 seconds. And immediately, you know, I'm feeling the energy from Shane, and I'm kind of like, I'm feeling a little worked up compared to all my other lifts. And I thought, stuff it, you know, even if I have already confirmed that I've won this competition, I technically haven't heard it myself from the actual officials, so I'm just gonna go for it. And before I knew it, I was cleaning the bar and I jerked it, and it was successful. And obviously that was such a great feeling. But as I've let go of the bar, I've looked over to the camera where the live TVU is, and I've just screamed in it. And I don't know where these emotions came from, but a part of me was, you know, like there you go. You wanted to challenge me, and I accepted the challenge, and, you know, I was successful at it. And a part of me kind of felt like, bring it on. You know, if there's anything that you want me to do, like, challenge me, because I'm up for it. And that aggression and the adrenaline that was running through my veins was just, it was just kind of out of nowhere. And I think that I will have to say that it's going to go down as one of the most memorable moments of my life, especially in competition. And so you know, the more I think about it and the more I notice how many other people appreciated it, it was very special because I didn't have any spectators in the gym to watch it. So the fact that people were still able to witness that all over the world was something quite unique and special. And, you know, I think that it was definitely one of the most special moments of the weekend for me. And I believe for a number of other people as well. So that was very cool. And then obviously we had the chipper and the last workout. And with everything going on in the world right now, a part of me was kind of thinking, you know, you never know when you're going to compete next. So leave nothing out on that floor. And to bring it home like that and secure another 100 points, but also just to finish on such a high with that last workout was really cool, especially now after, you know, everything that's been going on with COVID, and then obviously with CrossFit and all the uncertainty and stuff in the world. I finally felt like we all had around the world just a bit of positivity in our life. And for me, I think that sports is just so fulfilling, and there's just so much more than just watching, you know, someone push themselves to their limits and, you know, to challenge themselves. But it's an incredible source of entertainment, and, you know, it makes people so happy, and that's something that we have been missing in our life over the last few months. And the fact that Rogue were able to put on such a fantastic event worldwide, live, online, I think that's exactly what the CrossFit community and the world needed. So I hope you enjoyed my recap of the Rogue Invitational, and that you also treated yourself to some nice food. If you liked it, make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.